The Golden State Warriors spent years stockpiling draft picks and assets with one major goal in mind, landing Giannis Antetokounmpo. That dream is now officially dead. The Milwaukee Bucks declined the Warriors' trade package at the deadline, and the two-time MVP is now reportedly headed to the Miami Heat. For Golden State, the message is clear. It is time to pivot and find a different path forward. Hey, what's up, everyone? Before we jump into everything today, that like button right there is what decides if this video hits hundreds or thousands of people. 1 second is all it takes, but the impact on this channel is massive. Go ahead and hit that like button right now. Seriously, it's the simplest thing you can do, and honestly, the best way to back this content up, because every single like pushes us further. So, hit it now. The Warriors held on to their assets for so long that they passed on several legitimate trade opportunities along the way. That strategy did not pay off. Now, with the Giannis door firmly closed, the front office must shift its focus to more realistic targets. According to reports, 2 trade options stand out as the most plausible moves Golden State can make in the near term. One involving Clippers star, and another involving a big man currently stuck on a rebuilding team in Washington. The first option puts Kawhi Leonard in a Warriors uniform. The proposed framework would send Jimmy Butler, the 2026 number 11 overall draft pick, and a 2028 unprotected first-round pick to the Los Angeles Clippers in exchange for Leonard. ESPN's Anthony Slater has reported that Clippers Governor Steve Ballmer has taken a firm stance against moving Leonard, but there are reasons to believe that position could soften under the right circumstances. Leonard has just 1 year remaining on his contract, which means the Clippers face a real risk of losing him for nothing in 2027 free agency if he walks without signing an extension. On top of that, Los Angeles already traded away James Harden and Ivica Zubac during the 2025-26 season, signaling that a rebuild may already be quietly underway. 2 first-round picks, one coming immediately, could be enough to change Ballmer's mind if the right offer lands on his desk. Leonard, who will turn 35 before the start of next season, brings a history of injuries, but when healthy, he remains one of the most complete two-way players in the league. Any team built around Stephen Curry that also features a healthy Kawhi Leonard would be capable of making a serious postseason run. The roster would still have some gaps, but the core would be formidable enough to compete at a high level in the Western Conference. At this stage of Curry's career, surrounding him with elite talent on both ends of the floor is a priority, and Leonard fits that profile better than almost any available option. The second trade option is more controversial, but potentially more impactful in terms of raw talent. This scenario would bring Anthony Davis to Golden State. The proposed deal would send Butler and a 2027 top 11 protected first-round pick to the Washington Wizards in exchange for Davis. Washington acquired Davis early this year, but the fit has never seemed ideal. Davis does not want to be part of a long-term rebuilding project, and the Wizards face a difficult financial situation if they agree to give him the massive contract extension he is seeking. For the Warriors, the financial math actually works. Golden State has very little salary committed beyond the 2026-27 season, which means they have the flexibility to take on a major extension for Davis. The bigger question is whether they are willing to make that commitment to a 33-year-old with a significant injury history. Davis has missed extended stretches of time throughout his career, and locking him into a long-term deal that extends well into his late 30s carries considerable risk. Still, when Davis is on the floor and healthy, he is a dominant force at both ends. He can score from the post, stretch the floor, protect the rim, and switch defensively in ways that very few big men in the league can match. Pairing him with Curry would give the Warriors the kind of versatile front-court star they have been missing. Under the scenario, Golden State would use their 2026 first-round pick on a wing player, still addressing the perimeter need, and enter the 2026-27 season with more size and interior presence than they have had in years. Making this move would also send a clear signal to the league. The Warriors are not confident that Butler will fully return to form next season, and they are choosing to act now rather than wait. It is a high-risk, high-reward decision, but with Curry's championship window still open, Golden State may decide that bold action is better than cautious patience. The Warriors have reached a crossroads. They cannot afford to stand pat with a roster that fell short of expectations last season, and the luxury of waiting for the perfect superstar become available is no longer realistic. Whether the front office pulls the trigger on a Kawhi Leonard deal, pursues Anthony Davis, or explores a third option entirely, one thing is certain. The offseason ahead will define the next chapter of the franchise. Stephen Curry is not getting any younger, and every passing year, without a championship-caliber supporting cast, is another opportunity lost. The pressure to act is real, and Golden State's decision-makers know it. The moves they make or fail to make between now and the start of training camp will set the tone for what could be one of the most consequential seasons in Warriors history. The 2026 NBA Draft First Round is set for Tuesday, and the Golden State Warriors are one of the most talked about teams in the rumor mill. Holding the 11th overall pick, Golden State has options, including the possibility of trading down to collect more assets. With so much noise surrounding the team's intentions, it is worth breaking down which reports carry real weight, which are likely smokescreens, and what situations on draft night could create unexpected opportunities for the Warriors. Starting with what appears to be credible intelligence, Clutch Points reporter Brett Siegel wrote that it is hard to envision Golden State passing on shooting guard Braden Burries if he is still available at number 11. That assessment lines up with the Warriors' stated priorities heading into this draft. The franchise wants a player who can contribute immediately, not a project. Among the prospects likely to be available around the 11th pick, Burries and power forward Yaxel Lendeborg stand out as the two most NBA-ready options. Burries holds a significant age advantage over Lendeborg. He is 3 years younger, which gives him more upside in terms of long-term development. That gap alone could push him to the top of Golden State's internal board. Bleacher Report's Jonathan Wasserman also reported that Lendeborg is considered among the more vulnerable prospects to slip on draft night, meaning teams may pass on him more readily than his talent suggests they should. While the Warriors would welcome Lendeborg at 11, the possibility of him falling slightly further makes a trade-down scenario more attractive. On the trade-down front, Siegel also reported that shooting guard Bennett Sturts and small forward Cameron Carr are targets of the Warriors if they move back in the draft. The key context here is timing. If Golden State secures a second first-round pick and Sturts is still on the board, he becomes a realistic target. But only if the Warriors have already used their first selection on a wing player. Taking Sturts without addressing the wing need first would be out of character for a team that has made its positional priorities clear throughout the pre-draft process. Now for the smoke. Earlier this month, Siegel reported that the Warriors would give serious consideration to small forward Nate Ament if he fell to them at the 11th spot. Most draft analysts are skeptical of this claim. Ament is viewed as a high-ceiling, low-floor prospect who is not ready to contribute at the NBA level right away. Given that Golden State is prioritizing immediate contributors, Ament does not fit the profile. The more likely explanation is that the Warriors are deliberately creating the impression they would take Ament to encourage another team to jump ahead of them and remove him from the board, ideally clearing the path for a player Golden State actually wants. Teams deploy this tactic regularly in draft preparation, and it is a reasonable move for the Warriors to make here. There's also the ongoing Trey Murphy 3 chatter. ESPN reported that the New Orleans Pelicans forward is more available now than has been in recent trade cycles, with the Pelicans interested in moving him to gain access to a 2026 lottery pick. Reports indicate New Orleans has had early conversations with the Atlanta Hawks about a deal centered on the number 8 pick. However, league observers believe the Pelicans are asking for far more than any team is willing to give. This mirrors the same pattern New Orleans followed at the trade deadline, demanding maximum value and ultimately making no deal. The expectation is that Murphy will remain a Pelican past draft night unless a team agrees to dramatically overpay. Looking ahead to draft night itself, 2 prospects could slide out of the top 10 and reshape the Warriors' options entirely. Point guard Kingston Flemings and center Ade Mara are the names to watch. If Flemings is available at 11, the Memphis Grizzlies, who are expected to trade John Morant and need a point guard of the future, could offer pick 16 and 32 to move up. That would be a logical trade-down partner for Golden State, though the Warriors could reasonably demand a bit more, such as a young roster player added to the package. If Mara slips to 11, the Charlotte Hornets, who desperately need a center, could become interested in trading up from 14. That deal would likely require Charlotte to send both the 14th and 18th picks plus a future protected first-round selection. The Hornets have told the Warriors they are not currently interested in that framework, but draft night dynamics change fast. And if the center class thins out above 14, Charlotte may reconsider quickly, whatever path Golden State chooses. Staying at 11, trading down for more assets, or moving up if the right player slips. Tuesday night figures to be a pivotal moment in the franchise's short-term future. The Warriors enter the draft with flexibility, clear priorities, and the experience of front office that has navigated the draft process successfully before. How well they read the board in real time will go a long way toward determining whether this draft class accelerates their rebuild or simply adds another piece without changing the bigger picture. The Golden State Warriors are virtually certain to make a first-round selection in the 2026 NBA draft. Whether that pick lands at their current slot, number 11 overall, or at a different position after a potential trade, remains to be seen. Reports from the Athletic Sam Vecenie indicate the Warriors have explored both moving up and trading down, with more credible smoke pointing toward the latter. That uncertainty makes it all the more important for Golden State to have a clear, comprehensive ranking of every realistic target across the full range of first-round possibilities. The finalized big board below reflects both general prospect value and fit-specific considerations for what the Warriors need. The first 7 players on the board, A.J. Dibansa, Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson, Keaton Wagler, Mikael Brown Jr., and Darius Acuff Jr., are universally projected to be off the board before Golden State picks. All 4 major draft analysts, The Athletic Sam Vecenie, ESPN's Jeremy Woo, Clutch Point's Brett Siegel, and Bleacher Report's Jonathan Wasserman, have those 7 players going in the top 7 at the time of publication. The Warriors will not need to think about any of them. That leaves the pick starting at number 8 as the realistic range for Golden State. Point guard Kingston Flemings sits 8th on the board and has a real chance of still being available at 11. Current mock drafts project him going between picks 8 and 10, but the right sequence of selections in the top 9 could push him down to the Warriors' spot. Braden Burries, the shooting guard who has emerged as one of the most commonly linked names to Golden State in recent weeks, ranks 10th. Center Ade Mara is right behind him at 11th on the board. These 3 players represent the upper tier of what the Warriors could realistically land if they hold at their current position. Small forward Kareem Lopez sits 19th, and small forward Nate Ament ranks 20th. Both are long shots to be considered at 11 given the Warriors' preference for ready-now contributors. For players who are almost certain to be available when the Warriors pick, the board starts with Yaxel Lendeborg at number 9 overall. Lendeborg is the current frontrunner to be selected by Golden State if they stay at 11. He is a versatile power forward with the ability to play multiple positions and defend across different matchups. Small forward Cameron Carr ranks 12th. Point guard LeBaron Philin Jr. is 13th. Point guard Buka Okri is 14th. Power forward and center Morris Johnson Jr. is 15th. Center Hannah Steinbach is 16th. Small forward Dalen Swain ranks 17th. And point guard Bennett Sturts comes in at 18th. These 8 players form the core of what will be available if the Warriors trade down to a later slot in the first round. The board tells a clear story about Golden State's preferred approach. If they stay at 11, Lendeborg is the most likely pick, a player who can provide versatility and defensive value while adjusting to the NBA level. If they trade down and secure multiple first-round picks, the strategy becomes more layered. A wing like Carr or Philin could serve as a first selection, with Sturts or Okri coming later as a secondary piece. That 2-pick scenario is attractive because it allows the Warriors to address multiple roster needs in a single draft rather than placing all their hopes on one prospect. Players who narrowly miss the top 20 include Allen Graves, Christian Anderson, and Jaden Quaintance, names that could become relevant if the Warriors add a second-round pick through a trade or buyout of future selections. Ultimately, the big board reflects what has become the Warriors' defining draft philosophy heading into Tuesday. They want players who can contribute in year 1, who fit alongside Stephen Curry's style of play, and who give the franchise something it can build around as the roster continues to evolve through the trade market and free agency. What makes this draft particularly interesting for Golden State is the range of outcomes that remain plausible. Unlike many teams that go into draft night with a clear number 1 target and a backup plan, the Warriors face a situation where the prospect pool around pick 11 is genuinely deep and varied. Lendabord, Burries, Flemings, and Mara each represent a meaningfully different player profile, and each would steer the team in a slightly different direction, depending on how the front office views the roster's most urgent needs. Lendabord provides defensive versatility and positional flexibility. Burries offers shooting and wing scoring alongside elite athleticism. Flemings is a playmaker who could operate alongside Curry in two-guard lineups. Mara, the Spanish center, projects as a long-term starter with size and shot-blocking potential, though his NBA readiness is the most debated among the four. The Warriors will need to make that judgment call in real time as the picks ahead of them unfold. The big board is set. The war room is ready. Now it comes down to execution on draft night and how well Golden State navigates one of the most pivotal evenings this franchise has had in several years.